So let's look at what method number 3 can accomplish. With this one, we're going to start with a new blank layer. So down here in the layers panel, bottom, new layer, we have a new blank layer. Let's choose a color. I'm going to pick a blue because I'm going to use it on the cement this time, or the asphalt. That looks good. I'm going to hit OK. And now I'm going to drop the color into the entire layer. It totally hides everything. Gone. Well, in method number 2, we used a layer mask. We can add layer masks to any layer. So that's what we're going to do with this one. We're going to come down here to the bottom of the layers panel, and the 1, 2, 3rd icon from the left is add layer mask. So we're going to click on that. Notice the layer mask comes up as white, just like before with the hue and saturation layer. So let's do a Command I, and that turns our white mask to black, so it just hid that color. Let's make a selection. We're going to use the Polygonal Lasso tool. Once again, if you wanted to just paint with a paintbrush, you could do that as well, but this is just a little faster for what we're doing. I'm going to grab the paint bucket and I'm going to paint with white. If you look over at my layers, or not my layers, but my tool panel, black is my foreground color, so I need that to be white, so I'll hit X on my keyboard and I'll drop blue in there. So it's totally hiding everything. Just like with method number 1, I can play with my blend modes and try to find something that looks a little bit more natural. So I'm going to hit V on my keyboard to go to my move tool, and I'm going to cycle through the blend modes, seeing if I like any one better than another. Now remember, with this project, we have to color every single aspect of the photograph. Oh, I kind of like that yellow, even though it's totally not what I picked. Let's see here. I'm going to pull that down a little bit, and that being, I pulled, oh, that's looking good. So I pulled down the opacity a little bit. So I'm at like 23%. Now, because I like that color, I'm going to hit Command D, I can have that color on all of this asphalt. So I can use the same layer and create this over and over again. Paint bucket. Now check it out. Because I've already set multiply and an opacity of 23% to that layer, every time I do this, it's just holding those settings because I'm just adding to the layer. I'm not doing anything separate from that. So you notice I just did not hit Command D, because when I started a new selection, it drops out the old selection. Paint bucket. So I think you get the idea. So there's three blocks, all the same color, all on the same layer. If you look at the layer mask, you'll see there's 3 white areas knocked out. That's letting the color through. So Command D. So let's do this one more time. Over in here, I'm going to colorize one of these blocks back here. So I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to make that block in the back, pink. Let's go for that. So I'm going to drop pink into the entire layer. I'm going to add a layer mask. I'm going to Command I to turn the layer mask to black, and I'm going to grab my tool here and draw out a block. Now I'm working pretty quickly. I expect you guys to have perfect blocks, unlike my not perfect block. Okay, Command D to get rid of the dancing ants. That looks really horrible. V on the keyboard. Shift through till you find something you like. And remember, you can play with the opacity. Now, if I upsize this, I really did a poor job making that selection. So I'm just going to use my paintbrush to fix it up. So I need to take off from here. So I'm going to toggle to black. And that did a nice job. Now I'm going to toggle back to white because I need to add color in down here. And remember that trick. I'm doing it again where I click once and move to the other end to draw a straight line. X on my keyboard. Let's do this one more time. Make that nice and crisp. That's looking good. Now, if I want, I can come down here and kind of do the same thing as we did earlier. So I need it to be white. My foreground color. Click once. Click twice. Click 3 times. Click 4 times. 5 times. 6 times. 7 times. Now I can make my brush larger and just paint within the lines. So a lot of you guys are going to find it's going to go a lot faster for you if you just use the freehand painting method. So even if it's something easy to make a selection of, Just depends on what your style is. So you have lots of options with this. So you can either paint or you make a selection. Remember, white reveals the color and black conceals the color, and that's important to know. One other thing, if I option click on the layer mask, it'll show you what the layer mask looks like. I didn't do a very good job here when I was just painting it. So those little black areas don't actually have color in them. So I can come in here and kind of touch that up a little bit. And all I did was option click on the layer mask, and these were down here. These were a little bit better because I dropped the color in to a selection.